Hello everybody, my name is Kyle939. Welcome back to another video. Today in this one it's going to be another tier list video, and in this one it's going to be my tier list on meta decks post Doom of Dimensions. Yes, this might be a little early because it is like the first weekend of Doom of Dimensions, but we have a pretty much good idea of what the format is going to somewhat look like. Now obviously at the time of this game being posted, YCS Lille's Day 2 is happening right now, and then the next week after, so the next week after will be YCS Anaheim. So after this we'll have like a better understanding, but overall we have a somewhat good understanding of what this format is going to be like, and I'm going to be ranking the decks here today. So our ranking is going to be tier 1, tier 1.5, tier 2 rogues, and niche. I didn't want to call them bad. I'm just going to call it like it's really not for this format. Maybe in a different format it can excel, but in this format it's not going to be the greatest in the universe. So without further ado, we do have a lot of decks to talk about today, so we might as well just hop straight into it. So we're going to start off with the tier 1s, and then we'll just move our way down after the one, or after that. So to start off, tier 1, I will obviously going to put the Yummy deck here. I think this is probably going to be one of the better decks in the format, probably maybe the best deck. You can argue, you know, the only hit they got was Obedience Gold going to 1, and then Herald of the Arclight going to 1 as well. I think the Herald, the hit doesn't really matter. They still got the 1 Herald, so they can't make like a second Herald during your turn. Also, like there was like a Yummy Mitsu kind of running around, and makes it where if you waste your Herald to get to the Mitsu, you can't really get back to the Herald of the Arclight. But you know, obviously those hits aren't the greatest in the universe because one, they now have the new card, which is Marshmallow, which is absolutely insane. It's just an extender for the deck, which is kind of what the deck needed, because sometimes it was kind of like normal summon reliant. So if they never got to a Synchro 2 or Synchro 2 or a Link 1, their technical extenders in hand were always dead. But while Marshmallow is just a free extender, as long as you control no monsters or all monsters you control or like beasts, also being able to make sure you can cycle back minion, even though if they like SP banish it somehow, this can make sure you get the minion back from the banished area. So it makes it where banishing the minion is no longer as important because they have ways to recur the minion now. So it makes it where they don't have to play 2 or anything like that. And again, even though Obedience School did go to 1, you still have like Thrust to search it, because for some reason Thrust is still legal. I'm very much pissed about that. Why the fuck is that card still at 3? Probably because it's like, it's okay, but I just hate setting floodgates, to be honest with you. That's just my opinion on that though. But yeah, I think the deck is still overall very, very insane. Has so much interaction in the deck, especially if they go full combo. Like, I think this deck is really good. It's also one of those decks that gets to play a shit ton of hand traps as well, because mostly all their Yummy cards are 1-card combos as well. So I think this is going to be one of the best decks in the format going into the next format. Next thing up here that I also want to put in tier 1, if I can find it. There it is, Draco Tail. Yeah, I think Draco Tail deserves to be this. Now, this could just be me being really, really biased because I am a Draco Tail player, but 1, nothing got hit in Draco Tail, and 2, Draco Tail was already somewhat good in the last format, and with something like K9 and Yummy being hit on the ban list, while Draco Tail did not get hit on the ban list, it makes it where I think it could be one of the better decks. So it's kind of like a board breaker deck as well, because Ketu and Rahu are like kind of good board breakers for the deck. The only problem I have with Draco Tail is the Doom of Dimension kind of the support cards. Like, if you think Yummy, like Marshmallow is such an insane card for Yummy, and like even K9, they have the Noir, which is basically just an Ice Rizel for the deck, which also gets a look at your opponent's hand and gets free hand knowledge as well. Those cards are broken, but when you look at the Draco Tail support, man, oh man, you just wish it was better. Like, the trap is okay, but like it's still like a trap, so it is like a brick at the end of the day. But like at that, like it's not the most terrible thing in the world to be playing the new trap card. But this new monster, the I don't know what the fuck its name is, Phonics? It's definitely not called Phonics. I don't know what this card's called. It just isn't great. Like, if you're going to play the new one, you're just going to play it at 1 and that's it. And there's probably going to be some lists that don't even play it because it's not necessarily doing anything special for the deck. Like, it can revive something from the graveyard and then bounce something to hand. There's like some cool things you could do with it, don't get me wrong. And especially in something like Branded, it being like a light spellcaster, could be really good. But The fact that this card doesn't really do that much for Draco Tail, like, you're just going to run it as a one. Like, the new support for Draco Tail is what kind of is the problem right now, is the new support for Yummy and K9 were insane, while the new support for Draco Tail was just absolutely not the greatest in the world. But I still think this is probably going to be one of the best decks, just because nothing was hit, and Draco Tail was already a good deck in the past format as well. Anything else I want to put in Tier 1? I don't think so. I think that's really all I want to talk about in Tier 1. I really don't think there's nothing else that deserves to be in Tier 1. Like, don't get me wrong, I think there's a lot of decks that can compete with the top decks, or the Tier 1 decks, but, like, I don't think there's really nothing else I want to put up there with it. So I'm just going to end off the Tier 1 decks with just Yummy and Draco Tail. Now for the Tier 1.5 decks, I will talk about Lunalight. I think Lunalight is absolutely crazy in this format. It's one of those things, if they get the Liger Dancer, the game is fucking over. Like, it's just that simple. Like, Liger Dancer is that much of a problem where if they can get to it, the game is pretty much over, right? Like, Yummy's gonna have a hard time unless they have like a Kaiju or something like that. They're not fucking outing this card because Liger Dancer is just insane. Like, you have to have 5 Yummy monsters with minion on the field to out this, and even if you do that, they'll just board wipe the field, which is the reason why this card sucks. Is not only is it a towers, but it's also a fucking board wipe, which is absolutely insane. I think this deck is absolutely insane. I really want to put it up here, but I'm not going to quite put it there yet, because I think, like, if this becomes one of the best decks, obviously the side deck absolutely destroys it. If people side in like Lava Golems or Kaijus, that's when this becomes a problem, because people will just put those cards in, and that's when this deck dies. If Liger Dancer gets outed, the deck is just pretty much dead. But if Liger Dancer sticks, the game is over, which is really, really insane. It's also one of those things, sometimes it can just die to an imperm randomly, like you randomly need your Gold Leo to resolve, and that gets impermed, you're just fucked. So there's also that scenario as well. But I think the deck is very consistent. I think it's very insane. So I am going to put it in Tier 1.5. I think this is going to be one of the better decks in the format. Anything else I want to put in 1.5, huh? This is going to be a little bit weird, but I am going to put Pure K9 as a Tier 1.5 deck. Now, in testing, like I was just talking about, the new support for K9 is kind of insane. Like, the normal summon of Noir being an Ice Rizel is absolutely ridiculous. Also, getting the free hand knowledge is kind of insane. And also, just pure K9 in general is still, like, decent. I think this is the best version of K9. If you're going to play a K9 deck, this is the play pure. I think this deck is super, super good. Like, in the testings that I've done with my testing group, I think K9 is just, like, a pure K9 is really, really, really good. Now, there are some problems, like if you verse the Yummy matchup, the Yazuna is pretty much dead. There's a lot of stuff that's dead in that matchup, right? So that's probably the reason why it's not the greatest, is because if you verse Yummy, a lot of the cards are just dead, like Ripper is never going to get value, right? Azuna is probably never going to be able to special itself unless they like hand trap you or something like that. So that's kind of the problem with it, but I still think this is a crazy deck. So I am going to put it in 1.5. Maybe it's a little too high, but I really like this deck a lot. So I'm going to put it in 1.5. Other things I want to put in 1.5. What else? What else do I want to put in 1.5? I think Mitsu deserves to be there as well. Like, obviously you can't play the Rizel Mitsurugi deck. You technically could, but I don't know if it's the greatest in the world, but that is something you could still be doing. So technically you could throw Rizel in this, but like it's a little rough because obviously you only have X at 1. You no longer have King, so Rizel no longer gets you to the Mitsurugi portion of the deck. So, but I still think Mitsu as a pure deck is still very solid. Being able to, you know, run something like an Impulse is very insane, right? And that's something Lunalight has as an advantage as well, is being able to play playing too much Genesis format. Dominus Impulse is very insane. It naturally can break fields thanks to things like Murakumo just being a free board wipe, right? I think this deck has potential to be a 1.5 deck. Now, obviously, it's more of a control-heavy deck compared to the other decks that we're really talking about. Maybe Pure K9 is a little bit more control-heavy. But, like, these are, like, combo decks, and this is more going to be a pure deck. But I still think Pure Mitsurugi is very, very, very good. I am going to put it in 1.5. Anything else I want to put in 1.5 while I look here? Memento. Is there not a canine Memento deck? I guess not. I guess this is the representation of Memento. I'm going to put Memento in here. I'm always a fan of Memento. It's one of those decks I've never played, but I've always had so much respect for it, especially since they can play canine because what's his name is a 5. The horse is a 5. So I think this is really good in the 1.5. This is probably the second best like version of canine if you're wanting to play canine. So I am going to put this in 1.5 as well. Anything else? I guess Orchist isn't bad, but I don't know. Or I don't want to disrespect Orchist because it is solid. Don't get me wrong, especially since you can play like Fiendsmith with it as well. I guess you can't anymore. Yeah, you can't play Fiendsmith with it anymore. I guess it has to be pure because Moon is banned now. So I guess that turns that off by technicality. Can't play Mitsu with it because King is now banned. So I don't know. I guess I don't think I'm gonna put Orcus in 1.5. Is there anything else I want to put in 1.5? Like there's a lot of decks here, but I'm trying to like what else do I want to put in 1.5? No, I'm just like looking at it. I'm like, I don't really want to put anything else here, to be honest with you. Yeah, I think I'm just going to stick with that. This is going to sound weird. There's so many decks, but I think that's it. I think everything else goes tier 2 or lower. I think I'm fine with that, to be honest with you. Might be a little controversial, but I think I'm going to stick with that. So yeah, let's go to tier 2, shall we? So tier 2. I'm going to put this deck here, the Sword Soul Onomatopoeia deck, that plays like the Dododos and stuff like that. I'm assuming there's not another version that's like that, right? Let me just make sure before I get there. Yeah. So I'm going to consider, like, you really can't play Pier. I mean, you could, but there's so few names. I think playing the Onomatopoeia stuff in this deck is really, really cool. I do like this deck, especially since it's a super heavy combo deck. You know, something like Evil Swarm, what's the one that can hand rip is still legal, and that's very insane. So I think this deck still has potential to be a tier 2 deck. I think it's something you do have to worry about, especially since if people want to still play Sword Soul, or not Sword Soul, Rizal, this is probably the best ways to play with the Onomatopoeia stuff. So I'm going to put that in tier 2. Malice is probably tier 2. Like, it's kind of weird. Like, these aren't completely out of the format yet, even though they were hit hard. But I think Malice is still there. There's still, like, combos you can win. I think it just won the Houston regional, if I'm not mistaken. So, like, it's still good. Don't get me wrong. Especially with, like, the right pilot. I think it's insane. But you do have to manage your resources correctly. You have to be able to make sure you'll always get to a link 3. Dormouse is at 1, so you don't have that many one-card combos anymore, unless you can exactly get to Dormouse. Like, Splash Mage is no longer in the deck, so that it makes it harder to get to Link 3 and try to play through Interruption. So even though I think it's still a solid deck, like if you can still get to the end field of you know, the Allied Code Talker plus like a GCO6 set with like everything in Graveyard, it's still pretty solid, but you have to get there, and that's kind of the problem I see with it right now. But I still think it's a tier 2 deck. So even though these decks were like hit super hard on the ban list, I still think these belong in tier 2. I think they still will be in the format, and something you do have to worry about, unfortunately, there. Anything else? There's going to be a lot of decks in tier 2. I think Crystron, what the fuck is this deck called? Crystron Canine, I think also belongs in tier 2. Like, the inclusion to 1 does hurt, but you can still get there. I don't know how consistent it's going to be with that at 1. Maybe you can argue to put this in tier 1.5, but I think tier 2 is perfectly fine for me. Like, it is hit, and people are going to more try to play these decks because these decks were the unhits. Yummy wasn't hit, but you know, I still think the deck is insane. So I'm going to put that there. Vanquish Soul is so rough, I'm not going to lie with you. I don't think it's going to be like, that's the problem. I like the Vanquish Soul Canine and Pure Vanquish Soul. Like, I want to put in tier 2 because I still think it has potential to do stuff. But both Stake Your Soul plus Raisin, both being at 1, is kind of rough. It is kind of fucking rough. I'm not going to lie with you. That is a pretty rough scenario to have. So, like, that's why I think Canine Vanquish Soul is probably the worst version of the deck, just because it isn't as consistent. I'm still going to put this in tier 2. I don't know if I want to put Pier in tier 2. I still think people will try to play it, but it is super hard to try to play pure Vanquish Soul with only one Raisin and only one Stake Your Soul, right? So you have to draw like the correct attributes for Holy Sue, right? Like Dr. Madlove becomes your main starter. I'm still going to respect it. I'm still going to put it in tier 2, but I think it is that the hits to Vanquish Soul is super, super hard. So I still think you can get away with this. Like if it can still get to full field, it's insane, but the consistency problems do exist with this deck. So I'm going to put it in tier 2 because if it still gets to the end field, it's still kind of crazy, right? Other things I want to put in tier 2, man, there's so many fucking decks. Holy fucking shit. I guess... No, I wouldn't consider that. I guess Branded. Branded's always just a weird deck. Sky Striker as well, I would also put in tier 2. Branded now has Branded Fusion at 2. It doesn't really change much. This deck had like 20 ways to access Branded Fusion anyways. So I think this is fine to be in tier 2. If you want to play like Draco Tail Branded, that's kind of a cool little thing you could do as well. But I think this belongs in tier 2. Like it does some cool stuff, don't get me wrong, but I think it's still a tier 2 deck. Sky Striker, I'm also of the same opinion. I think it could do some cool stuff, and the board breaking potential of the deck is kind of insane. But I still think it's a tier 2 deck, so I don't want to put it any higher than that. White Forest, it's always one of those combo decks. If it goes full combo, it wins the game. But you have to get to full combo with with all hand traps being played in the format. It's going to be a little rough. You know, I think people are still going to be signing Droll in their side decks as well because they're scared of other matchups like K9 and Mitsu and stuff like that. So I think this does have a Droll problem, right? So I think this is a tier 2 deck. It's still solid. If it goes full combo, it wins the game. But I'm going to put it in tier 2. Anything else I want to put in here? Sorry, I guess I will put Orcust in tier 2 as like a pure deck. Yeah, I think that's fine. Not even Castira is good anymore because Moon is banned now. Like that matters a lot. That Moon is banned. So things like Castria Fiendsmith or like Tempai Fiendsmith is no longer the greatest because you don't have that Moon access anymore, right? So I don't know if I guess Mermail deserves to be in tier 2 because it still has everything. So I like people will try or one trick this deck. Like it's their only deck they play, and they will do well with this. So I'm not going to disrespect it, but I still think it's a tier 2 deck. Gem Knight, no, I'm good. Is there anything else? I think that's it. I think that's all I want to talk about. Maybe Pure Fiend? No, not even Pure Fiendsmith. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. I think that's it. That's it. Yeah. I like Fire King. I'll put Fire King in tier 2. I think this deck is heavily underrepresented, but I still think it's a cool ass deck. So I'm going to put it in tier 2. Blue Eyes, I guess. Yeah, I guess Blue Eyes we have to put in tier 2 as well because, you know, it's still really insane. Nothing has been hit. Like, it's still just like a kind of tier 2 deck you have to worry about. It's a very control heavy type of deck. I think that's it. Tribegate is kind of cool. I kind of like the idea of Tribegate. I don't know if that's like going to matter though. I think I'm going to call it there. Rogue. I will put Tribegate in Rogue. I think a lot of people are going to be trying it because the new support's kind of insane. This Link 2 is fucking broken as hell. That just came out of Doom and Dimensions, but I don't think it elevates something to the deck. Like this makes it where you can be splashable in other like decks that play Wing Beast or Beast Warriors, right? But even though the card is crazy, I think Tribegate is still past its prime, right? So I think I'm still going to put that in Rogue. Labyrinth, I love Labyrinth. Don't get me wrong. I fucking love Labyrinth. And being able to, you know, main deck D-Barrier and be able to shut down a lot of decks is cool. Still going to put it in Rogue. Chimera is still, I think, a Rogue deck as well. Punk is there. Dragon Maid, I only going to put in Rogue because Draco Tail Dragon Maid is a deck that is being played, but I don't think it's necessarily the greatest in the world because it is a deck that requires 20 million normal summons. So yeah, Manifesting Storm, this isn't the format for it, to be honest with you. I like the idea of the deck, but I think your level 3 extenders are just better, right? So I'm not going to put that here. I don't know what this deck is. This is just the new Dogmatica card. Which, like, it's a hand trap. It's not, like, really a deck. So I don't know what to kind of pump. Oh, DDD. I forgot about DDD. Sorry. This is a DDD monster, right? I'm sorry. I don't know that many DDD monsters in the game. Sorry. I know DDD Wave High King Caesar. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to count this as DDD, though. So if this isn't a DDD monster, I'm sorry. But I'm going to count this as a DDD because I don't really see any other DDD guys. So I think this is DDD. I'm going to put this in tier 2. Sorry, I just saw that. But I think this is a tier 2 deck for sure. New support's completely insane in Doom of Dimensions. I don't know if it deserves to be up here. I think tier 2 is probably a good spot for it. Evil Twin I'll put there because it's one of the better Fiendsmith type of decks. I still think it's a deck that relies on its non-engine super hard, so if it doesn't draw non-engine, it does lose the game. Fiendsmith Pure I'll put in Rogue as well. I still don't like the idea of it, but it's still something that you do have to worry about, and it's something you can do in I guess Mitsu can play Fiendsmith as well because 2 level 4s equals Exciton, which still gets you to Requiem, right? Anything else? I think that's really it. Super Quant. Didn't they just get new support? I'll put this in Rogue. I'm not going to disrespect Super Quant. Sorry, been playing a little too much Genesis format, and I've been respecting Super Quant in Genesis format, so there's that. I don't really think I want to put anything else in Rogue, though. Yeah. I guess Yubel is cool. I like the idea of Yubel, especially with Summon Sorceress. It's one of the few decks that can take advantage of the Summon Sorceress errata, but I still think it's a Rogue deck. Like, it's one of those decks, if you get Fluid, you fucking lose the game. Like, instantly lose the game. It's like Unchained. Sorry. Yeah, I think that's... RB, I'll put in Rogue. I like the idea of RB. I really do. Like, I love the testing I did with it for my RB in-depth guide video I did. But I still don't think it's the greatest thing in the world. Even though the new support is kind of crazy, still, I don't think it's enough to push it past over Rogue, to be honest with you. Pearly, I'm not going to disrespect either. I guess I should put that in tier 2. Or, no, sorry, Rogue. Sorry. What's this card? Oh my god. Oh, this is the fucking Doom Z. Yeah, I'll put that in Rogue. It could be a tier 2 deck, but I'm going to put it in Rogue. Oh no, this is the Doom Z deck. What the fuck is this? Is this a DDD? I don't know. I don't know this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This could be DDD. I just don't know what this is. This could be a DDD monster, and this could be like a Goki. Oh, that's probably what it is. Oh, fuck. I don't know which one is which. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know these cards. I'll come back to that in 1 second. Sorry. Everything else I think is Rogue. Dark World. Or this is Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes is Rogue. Without OSS, it's nothing. Centurion. I'm going to put it in Rogue. I'm going to respect it. I don't think it's niche. I think there is something to do it, but I don't really like it. Castria is just dead because it required Fiendsmith, and you no longer have Fiendsmith. So, like, it's one of those things that's not the greatest thing anymore. Maybe as an engine it's good, but as a deck it's terrible. Voiceless Voice, I honestly, even though I played Voiceless Voice, and I really do like the deck, I really don't think this is the format for it. To be honest with you, I really don't think this deck is the greatest thing in the world. Archmage, I'm going to put it in Rogue. I actually like Archmage. I kind of like Archmage quite a lot, so I'm gonna count this as Rogue. Oh, Gem Knight, also Rogue. Sorry, I just forgot about these decks. These are decks of Rogue. Monarch, Rogue. Time Tearing Morganite, stuff like the stun deck, Rogue, or niche, sorry. Yeah, Necros, niche. This is the new, fuck, what's his name? I know what it is. I'm just forgetting the name of it. Solophicard? Is that what it's called? I'm going to put it in Rogue. It's one of the canine variants of the deck, right? I'm going to put it in Rogue because I do respect. Black Rose. I really want to like it, but I think I'm going to put it in niche. Megalith. I love Megalith. Still going to put it in niche. And I don't know what this... I think it's just Dogmatica. It's niche. Sorry. The card is cool. And I think the new Dogmatica card can be played in other decks as a hand trap. I don't think it's good. Dogmatica as a deck, though, is pretty much dead. So what is this, then? Sorry, give me 1 second. Let me try to figure out what these cards are. Alright, I figured it out. Sorry. So this is DDD, this is Goki. Sorry, they kind of look similar to me. I'm sorry, I apologize about that. It's more because I don't know what the Goki monsters look like. So this is DDD, this is Goki. Goki, you can go down here. Sorry. DDD, tier 2, Goki, niche. I really don't think this is going to be a deck. It's going to be higher than a lot of these decks, though. Like this. There, it's fine. Alright, so that's my tier list. So tier 1 is Yummy and Draco Tail. Tier 1.5 is going to be Lunalight, Canine, Pure Canine, Mitsu, and Memento. Tier 2 is going to be Sword Soul and Malice. All the other like Canine variants, so like Canine Crystron, like it can still go full combo, like, but I don't like the consistency problems. Also, same thing with Vanquish Soul and Canine Vanquish Soul. The fact that Stake and Raisin are both hit. I don't like it. But if it goes full combo, it's still really good. Branded, I think, is a tier 2 deck. Same thing with Striker, White Forest. Orcus maybe could be a little bit lower, but I'm still going to put it in tier 2. Mermail, Fire King, Blue Eyes, and the DDD deck. Rogue, I have the Tri-Brigade deck, Labyrinth, the Chimera deck, Punk, Dragon Maid if you're playing the Dracotel version of the deck, the Radiant Typhoon, that's the name of this card. Radiant Typhoon deck, Evil Twin, Pure Fiendsmith, Super Quants, Ubel, RB, Pearly, Doom Z, Centurion, Archmage, Gem Knight, and the Solophacor deck as well. I think I'm going to put in Rogue. And in niche, Dark World, Snake Eyes, Pure Castria. I think the Castria stuff as an engine is cool, but Pure, I don't really think it's good. Voiceless Voice, even though I like the deck, I don't really think it's for this format. Monarch, the Time Tearing Stung deck, Goki, Necros, the Rose Dragon deck, Megalith, and the Dogmatica deck. I guess I'm assuming this is Dogmatica. I'm going to go with it. If it's pure Dogmatica, it's not it. The card itself, though, is kind of cool. I do like the card. So that is going to be it for my tier list. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe for more content on the channel, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.